Well, hello and welcome everyone to the Group B section of Week 2's Day 4 of Littlewargame's Pro League 6. Today, it is going to be Team mderg versus Team Broleague. The competitors today are going to be BeatFlitz for the first and itzJ for the latter. This is an important series for both of these players and both of the teams respectively as well, of course. For the players, it is, of course, to see who is superior, but if we look at the team scores, you can see that Team mderg is slowly losing grip on the possibility of getting first place from the Fellowship. So, if BeatFlitz is able to get a clean sweep here, or at least at minimum win the series, and they can slowly get their hopes back up to maybe try and get back to the Fellowship and get back into the fight for first place. And if we look at itzJ's side, which is Team Broleague here, if he manages to get a clean sweep here, they will actually be third place, because with fewer map victories, they will be at the exact same point score as Team Holy here. Now, if he only wins with a 2 and 1 victory, they will be at 7 points. So they will be just 1 point short. They will be close to Team Holy, but not quite there yet. Having that said though, I believe it is time to try and figure out who will go and take victory of game number 1 of this very important series. And the first game of these two gentlemen is going to be played on Xenos. If I remember correctly, we have not really seen this map that much in the past few series, but I could be completely wrong here, as my memory does flee me quite often. But it is going to be interesting nonetheless. BeatFlitz here saying that he went in this with 0 warm-up, so this is going to be very interesting. BeatFlitz in a game of this importance, it might not be the best way to go about things, but maybe that's just the way he likes it. Having that said though, in the bottom left-hand corner, trying to fight for Team Broleague here, get them away from the bottom position. With the red pieces, it is itzJ. And on the bottom right-hand side with the blue pieces trying to claw their way back into the battle for first place for Team mderg, it is BeatFlitz. Now, BeatFlitz is deciding to go for a Rex opening. itzJ has decided to go for a workshop opening. If my memory serves correct, which, as I said 1 minute ago, it doesn't quite often, I don't think we've actually seen a workshop opening working. We have seen a Rex opening with a proxy workshop, if I'm correct, or a den opening with a proxy workshop. One of the two, if I'm correct. That worked. But that's not this. This is a workshop opening, and a workshop opening means a very defensive opening, generally speaking. So, BeatFlitz, if he does manage to scout this relatively early, might even be able to get himself a quick third base, which I assume is going to be this one, because it seems like it is the closest and the easiest to defend here, even though Xenos as a map is quite open. It has multiple ways to go ahead and attack and all of the bases outside of the main one. So, curious to see what he's going to do. Also curious to see what this guy is going to do. Now, this is not a scout, or at least I highly doubt it is. But what is it going to do instead? Because as the first raider is moving over towards itzJ's natural, it doesn't look like... Well, what does it look like? He's getting a little bit close here now. So I'm not entirely sure what his plan is. Well, BeatFlitz does walk into the 2 Gatling guns here. As itzJ is getting himself a natural base, does now know that it is a workshop opening. So he is going for a natural base himself, maybe gear up to get a relative fast third. Okay, so the worker is going for a watchtower at the natural base. Nice placement for the first watchtower here. Does not want to be scouted by any of the workers here either. And I assume that he's going to make a second watchtower closer to the gold mine to try and deny the mining at the natural base here for BeatFlitz. But that is only one way to find out. He does flash a raider into the main base, sees that there is nothing really that special going on apart from this singular workshop. Might go and try and attack a few of these workers here, but so far, okay. This is interesting. Why are you sending 4 workers that are holding pieces of gold? That could have been 20 gold in your bank instead, but yeah, BeatFlitz knows that this is going to be a lot of pressure. He does see the watchtower here, but it is already being backed up by another one, so I have a feeling that this is going to be pretty tough for BeatFlitz to hold, as itzJ already has a relatively secure position. It is far from over though, that is one thing that is for sure. But it's looking good for itzJ so far. It definitely has an advantageous position, especially once this watchtower finishes. But this is not what you'd like to see as BeatFlitz. It just gets himself surrounded with the Gatling gun. That is not what you want, my dude. There are no flashes remaining for these raiders. That is something that might help him, but the other Gatling gun gets destroyed as well. Why do you do this to yourself, itzJ, and why do you also let another worker die, which might not have been necessary either? This man in the red is taking so much unnecessary damage. It is actually crazy. He does, however, get his second watchtower finished, so I am hearing something. Ah, the third is being built. I was like, I hear something being constructed, but I haven't seen anything. What it could have been. But yeah, these watchtowers are going to deny the mining at the natural for quite some time. As itzJ is getting himself a mill, so he's going to transition into gyrocrafts. This might be a little bit of a better situation. No, don't walk your catapult out of the surrounds of your workers. itzJ, you were doing so well, but now everything is going bad. This Gatling gun is also going to be destroyed. There is no other defense here. These raiders, even though workers deal quite some damage, it's just... You lost 500 gold of unnecessary losses. Like, why? The idea is good. The execution is just absolutely devastating to watch. It is... Oh my god. And these raiders also just keep pulling on the workers at the natural here, just being a nuisance to the income of itzJ. It's just so tragic to see. Could have been so much better. And again, a flash on top of the Gatling gun. Is it going to be killed? Yes, it is. One raider goes down, second raider goes down. So finally something in retaliation for my player in the red. But BeatFlitz himself managed to get himself a workshop. Is getting himself, even though it was a sloppy split of the workers, does get himself a catapult, slowly going to take down the watchtowers there, so he can actually mine at the natural again. The raiders are finally being cleaned up, but not before a total of 7 workers are going down. It's not great to see. I want to say that it's definitely in the favor of BeatFlitz again here, even though he does not have any anti-air apart from the singular watchtower at the natural base. So the gyro crafts might be a saving grace for itzJ, but if itzJ cannot do anything with these gyros, then I think no matter how good his intentions are, no matter how good of a setup he had, then I don't think that he has a chance here. Well, of course, he can always have a chance, but yeah, it's not really going to be great. First gyro does get at the third base. Advanced Workshop immediately gets put down. I still need to check what this upgrade is, but I feel like it's going to be speed for the mech units of itzJ. He's getting himself another workshop, so I assume he's going for some catapults himself. This gyrocraft now does have a singular kill. We'll be able to get 2 before the watchtower comes up. But yeah, it is indeed a speed upgrade, because you can see plus 0.15 at the speed. I'm so good at predicting what upgrades do. It's insane, especially since there is a wheel with an arrow to the green side of things, so pretty easy to deduct. But nonetheless, Gyrocraft gets 3 kills at the at the third base. Almost wanted to say the natural base because this was denied for quite a while. But I highly doubt that these gyros, until they reach a bigger number, which I believe is at least 7, unless, of course, itzJ gets some upgrades, he's not really going to be able to do anything because there will be watchtowers at all of the bases. So the only thing that he can do is maybe try and take out some of these soldiers, maybe, if there are not that many archers, even though archers are pretty strong against gyros here. Might be able to catch out some catapults out of position. But so far, nothing really happening. This soldier is going to live. Once again, not the best movement from itzJ, letting the weakened gyro take even more damage. BeatFlitz, in the meantime, is getting himself a second workshop as well. itzJ getting himself a third base, an additional mill, and a forge. So I assume he's going to get the mechanical unit upgrades, because he is focusing on the mechanical units, of course, from the forge, and he's going to put more and more emphasis to the gyros. Having that said, the advanced workshop has been starting to produce ballistas. So I'm not entirely sure if gyros are going to be a great addition to his composition for a long period of time, because these ballistas deal plenty of damage to the gyros, and if he does manage to get a few of them and get himself the explosive shot upgrade as well, then I have a feeling that the gyros are going to die faster than he can produce them. So I'm not sure if going for a third mill is the right option here. I think I would prefer to see him get a third workshop, to maybe go for some more Gatling guns and catapults, but we'll find out quickly if it is a good or a bad decision for a player in the red here. A bird has been sent out, and we'll see that there is a third base here. We'll see that there are plenty of workers at the third base as well. The worker count being pretty much equal. The houses here at the front is an interesting placement. I think I would have preferred to see them maybe at the main base, maybe close to the third, or maybe back here, to try and save itself from a possible catapult barrage, I should say. But yeah, the bird from BeatFlitz has been taken down. Is going to send a second bird out. Definitely wants to gain some more scouting knowledge. So far, doesn't really have a lot of knowledge, but does know that there are quite some gyros on the field, of course. He doesn't know that there are 3 mills, so he doesn't know how heavily invested itzJ is. But I think he knows that with the amount of gyros coming into his base, that it's definitely not a low amount. itzJ now finally getting another workshop as well, might eventually start to bring in a switch of the composition, is getting himself indeed the attack upgrade here for his mechanical units. BeatFlitz is getting 2 forges, so itzJ might get out upgraded here relatively soon. Are these archers going to be able to take down these gyros? Archers do not have the movement speed that the gyros have, so if they are being dealt quite some damage, or if they are at least thinned out a little bit, then the gyros can sweep up and take out all of the archers here. They are going to be lured in. Some nice volleys from the catapults here will take down a few of these archers, and now the gyros will have a free reign to take all of them down. This is a little bit of a waste of BeatFlitz, as he is not doing anything else in the meantime here. Does not have his bird flying in while the gyros are on the other side of the field. This gyro has been there from minute 1. And this gyro over here only has 1 health so far. Did manage to take down the 2 workers here, or they have been moved back. Let's see. No, it doesn't have any kills, so for some reason the production on the castle and watchtower have been stopped here. Gyrocraft is going to be taken down, these archers are going to be taken down. In the meantime, itzJ, very nice move, while the gyros do attack the top of the field, while he does need to be careful with the ballistas here, is going to try and charge in with some catapults down below. And if we look over here, 2 ballistas have been dropped. The airship is going to be taken down though, but the explosive shots are definitely dealing quite some damage. 3 of them have been slain so far. Is it going to be able to hit another shot? Oh, the explosive shot was just out of range, otherwise 3 more of them would have been taken down. In the meantime, the catapults on the other side do not have the damage that they require. This is not something that you like to see. All of these workers are going to go down as well. The gyros do eventually manage to fight and find the catapults, I should say, and join the fray. And with this amount of gyros, he should have been able to take down the watchtower here, but of course with the ballistas joining the fray again, it's not something that he likes to see. Another explosive shot does take down 3 gyros. This ballista, once again with 3 kills here, is a great addition to his army. 4th base for both of these players are going to be made. This 4th base on the top for BeatFlitz is just now going to be continued to made, while itzJ has finished his own. And the bird does spot that there is no 4th all the way up there, or at least no base all the way up there, I should say. Watchtower has been finished, but should be able to be taken down by the gyros here very quickly. Almost have 2 mech upgrades here for a player in the red. Is getting himself a 2nd forge, so it looks like he wants to gain a bigger advantage. itzJ trying to create a 5th base over here, but is it going to be taken down by this push from BeatFlitz? So far, it looks like it. For some reason, not focusing down the worker can take it down very easily. It does get cancelled, so nice move from itzJ. And there are 12 gyros here. 2 of them are relatively low health, so does still need to be a little bit more on the safe side here. Needs to be careful and not to try to clump them up, because there are 2 ballistas here with the 2 explosive shots. A lot of them get dealt so much damage. But these ballistas are very easily going to be targeted by the gyros, and there is nothing else of this army that is going to be able to take them down, so they have free reign right now. This is absolutely devastating. There is an attack upgrade for the infantry and the mech units for BeatFlitz, but there is absolutely nothing that shoots the air. There is no additional ballistas, there is no archers here, and I feel like archers, especially with this count of gyros, is going to be so much better for him. The 5th base looks like it's going to be denied, even though it's almost ready to be constructed. I feel like he wants to cancel this 5th base though. And yes, he does. Watchtower did get finished, which is a little bit of a pain, but yeah, it's not that bad. itzJ has a few idle workers. It's not too insane, but it's also not the best. Probably wants to go ahead and try to get himself the 6th base up and running relatively soon. And if you look at the income, he is at least currently ahead. BeatFlitz in total has mined more, which is interesting to see. But I assume that is going to swap around relatively quickly, because itzJ is mining 300 gold extra per minute. The gyrocrafts do manage to take down a watchtower here. We'll eventually be able to take down some workers over here as well. In total, 14 workers, 15 now have been taken down from BeatFlitz, which is not a great position for our player in the blue to be in, especially over here. Just leaving them be for quite some time is not that great. There's a lot of economic damage being dealt here to BeatFlitz. But in the meantime, itzJ is just safe to continue to go ahead on his own side. Once again, still only soldiers. He's not doing anything with these soldiers. I would have loved to see maybe some airships coming in, picking up these soldiers, maybe try and do some catapult drops in the base of a red player here, because at the front there's absolutely nothing that these units are doing. They've been constructed for what seems like 10 minutes at this point, and they haven't really dealt anything or any damage yet. The gyros over here are going to be repaired a little bit as well, while 3 at a time are continuously going to be flown in. But if we look at the ballista count now, there are 6 ballistas here. itzJ might need to be careful. With these 6 ballistas, it is definitely a lot easier for BeatFlitz to counter the effect of the gyros of itzJ, which all the more tells me that it needs to get some airships to get some counter-offensive in, because if you look at the base, itzJ has a total of 6 bases, while BeatFlitz is just on 3, or 4, I should say. But the mining bases are obviously lower, as the main base has been mined out for both of these. There is some counter-offensive by 2 gyrocrafts here, but the watchtowers do deny all of it, and the main engagement over here with all of these ballistas do go ahead and get all of the explosive shots in. A lot of these gyros are now very low health, but he does not want to let them get out of position here. They will be caught out by these Gatling guns, and it is just tough to see. These will now all once again go ahead and be repaired. One ballista is going to go down. The second one, I assume, is going to go down relatively shortly as well, but it's not that much of a difference. The ballistas need airships. They need to get an even better engagement. Maybe as well get additional upgrades, as BeatFlitz is getting. He's getting himself 2 attack upgrades for both the infantry and his mechanical units, as more and more ballistas are going to be caught up by the fact that the Gatling guns are just so much faster. In the meantime, itzJ, if you look at the upgrades for him, he has 3 mech unit upgrades for the attack and 1 armor upgrade, so these catapults are strong. These Gatling guns are strong. These gyrocrafts, or gyrocrafts, are insanely strong as well. Every single one of these volleys of the catapults here, if they do eventually manage to shoot, is going to be absolutely devastating. But here come the gyrocrafts, and here were the gyrocrafts. Running them straight into 4 ballistas with explosive shots is not good. He lost 35 of his ballistas. 5 kills, 2 kills, 4 kills, and 1 kill. All of these ballistas have now paid themselves pretty quickly, and it's actually insane how much damage they do. Having that said though, itzJ's presence on the map is still just so large. His income is not necessarily as large as it could be, but he does definitely have himself some map pressure. itzJ is going to try again to get himself a 5th base, but it looks like the catapults over here are going to be run over to the base. At least it seems like it, as I saw the red screen of itzJ here move over to that side. The watchtower over here is going to be denied. It will be destroyed in total. So no money back for a player in the red, while he is getting himself 2 additional workshops. Definitely wants to increase his count of catapults and Gatling guns here. The rest of the base so far is free to go. itzJ in his main base has not really had any competition at all. It also looks like this watchtower is going to be destroyed and not cancelled, which is very nice for BeatFlitz. Small victories every single time. But it's not looking good for him if you look at the upgrades. It is still in the favor of our boy in the red. And these Gatling guns just deal so much damage. They do eventually get taken down by the archers, but it is not going to be enough right now because just the sheer amount of damage from the red units. An airship does get made by itzJ so far. It doesn't really seem like he's going to do too much with it. Might be able to go ahead and pick up some of these catapults here and maybe drop them somewhere else, but the airship so far is pretty stationary, so not really a lot of movement from that side of the field. Another watchtower is going to be attempted to be made, while the base in the bottom hand side with the catapults is finally going to be destroyed. It's just a continuous onslaught, no matter how slow it is from itzJ here. The watchtower does get cancelled this time, which is very nice to see, but the containment of itzJ, no matter how sloppy some of the engagements are here, it is interesting to see. Again, BeatFlitz does have 5 ballistas, so the gyrocrafts over here are not really going to be doing anything, but he has, well, I wanted to say he has stopped production on these gyros, but he is still making 3 at a time, which I feel like he needs to stop because these ballistas, they deal lots of damage, and he has already lost a grand total of 39 of them. If he's going to keep producing them, he definitely needs to put them in another location, and not where the ballistas are. Gatling guns, though, are going to be amassed. There are also more catapults on the way, which is great, as some of the army of BeatFlitz just does not shoot the ground, and the part that does shoot the ground is quite small. All of these workers are going to run around. None of them are going to be taken down, and itzJ over here is going to be caught up and out of position a little bit. One of these catapults is going to be taken down. The ballistas are going to fight for the other side. It is a nice surround, but a surround from ballistas is not really a surround. They are just meat shields at this point. But this does manage to get cleaned up relatively well. And if we look at the screen here, there is 3 attack upgrade, or the 3rd attack upgrade, I should say, from BeatFlitz is also going to be gotten. So, upgrade-wise, it is starting to turn into the favor of a boy in the blue. Income-wise, though, not so much. He is down almost 3,000 gold when it comes to the total mined gold, and he is also 2,000 gold behind when it comes to the total gold lost. So it's almost a 5,000 gold deficit, which is quite a lot. Also, if you look at the supply count, it's almost a maxed army against 80 supply here. It is not looking good. Double the amount of income for a player in the red, because there's just nothing that BeatFlitz can mine. He has been contained for quite some time. The castle is going to be placed at BeatFlitz 5th here. A little bit of a BM move, a little bit of bad manners, but it looks like itzJ is slowly but steadily going to take this game. No additional moves around, no army has been picked up to run into the catapults here. So yeah, it's BeatFlitz who's going to GG out, and itzJ getting himself a 1-0 lead for Team Broleague here. itzJ got a lot of map presence. He got a lot of economy at some point. He did pretty well, but his engagements were very sloppy. Having that said, BeatFlitz also had a lot of ways to improve. could have gotten some counter-offensive in, because he was in a tight spot getting contained over and over again. He needed to find a different way to get himself some clean air, but he did not manage to do so. But itzJ got himself a 1-0 lead, and it's looking pretty good for Team Broleague here. One more victory will get himself a clean sweep. Let's see if BeatFlitz can deny them in game number 2. And game number 2 is going to be on Silent Fjord. On this map, we've seen a lot of Beast play. Beast versus Beast, Beast versus Rex, that is what we've mostly seen. Not too much Rex versus Rex, if I'm correct. This map is also relatively large, at least there's a long way to run between bases, and at least it looks a little bit longer. And it does have multiple ways to run up some ramps, so it will definitely be an advantage for Beast players, at least in the early game. Of course, if you do get a bigger... speaking sometimes. If you do get a bigger army with Rex units, it's also possible to surround with the Rex units, but the Beast player is usually the kind of the surrounds. But before we get into all of the army compositions that are going to be played here, on the bottom left hand side with the red pieces trying to get back into the series, it is BeatFlitz, who is starting with a den opening, while the player in the blue over here at the top right hand position trying to secure the clean sweep from Team Broleague. It is itzJ, who is starting with the barracks. Interesting to see how this is going to go. itzJ, if I'm correct, being the first player who made a workshop opening work. Well, did it really work? The raiders shut it down pretty much instantly. But he eventually won, so I guess in some way it did work. Oh god, what are you doing? Okay. BeatFlitz, I thought you were going to proxy something, but you're just going to wall yourself off. Which is nice to see. I'm curious if itzJ has a raider. If the raider can flash from here onto the ramp. But I'm not entirely sure about that. It looks like he should be able to, but maybe the vision is going to be blocked. Doesn't seem like it is, because this worker can see, but that might be because he's on the ramp. I don't... Well, maybe we'll figure it out relatively soon. itzJ did send a worker out again, but this time it was looking for some kind of proxy. Does not go ahead and wall off his base. We'll see though that there is a wolf coming, so he knows that it is a den opening. So far I assume that it is going to be a one den. At least we know that it is. But itzJ hasn't spotted another wolf or another 2 wolves already, so it feels like he must know that there's a one den as well. Having that said though, BeatFlitz is going to try and get himself a natural base here relatively quickly. As you can see, him saving up for 350. Could have moved this worker a little bit closer to get it in faster. Is itzJ flashing in a raider here. And it's an interesting move, could have been surrounded very quickly. But does manage to get himself out of that nasty position. Does have another flash now. Is he going to be able to take down this wolf? It is an A move. It's not going to work quite yet though. itzJ in the meantime getting himself a natural base as well. This wolf, not that well controlled, does go ahead and get slain by the lower health raider here. Keep in mind once again that there is a 30 base damage on the raiders, and it does 14 additional damage versus biological units, which these wolves are biological. And it does 16 additional damage versus mechanical units. Which for some reason... Like, are there units that are not biological and not mechanical? It feels like all of them are, so... It's interesting to see why it's not like a base damage plus like +2 versus mechanical or something, but I guess that is a question for someone else to answer. In the meantime though, the wolf is trying to get into the main base. So far it doesn't look like he's going to make it. Another wolf goes down. Not the best position for BeatFlitz. He does have a lineup of wolves securing his base, but he is going to try and get himself a relatively fast third base compared to itzJ. And itzJ getting himself 3 additional racks. I am not sure if on 2 bases you can support 4 racks, but I guess we'll find out if he's going to be able to do so. BeatFlitz getting himself a third though, so he himself is gearing up for a more of an economic style. While itzJ looks like he is going pretty all in with his 4 barracks here. But we'll see how it'll end. 3 raiders are at the front door of BeatFlitz so far, dealing a little bit of damage, but both of these units can heal themselves slowly but steadily. Almost a surround on the raiders here. They do have 2 flashes remaining, but it is better, of course, for itzJ if he does not have to use them. One of the raiders did get a little bit low on health, though, so he needs to start to be a little bit careful. Does see that there's a third base coming for BeatFlitz, so he might think that he is going to be in a good situation because he is getting himself some more and more army here. But he might be fighting against a ticking time bomb, because BeatFlitz, if his economy does grow and grow while itzJ is stuck on his 2 bases, then it is the opposite situation of what we have seen in game number 1. BeatFlitz getting 2 additional dens, and also a snake charmer is going to start to blow up, and with another additional den, going for 4 in total here, is going to start ramping up his production and throwing in some snakes as well for some range DPS. Is very nice to see. While, as we can see from itzJ, he is not continuously producing out of all 4 of his ranks. He does have quite some army, which is nice to see. Well, BeatFlitz getting another den in, going for 5 dens in total. Interesting situation. The raider will get into the main base, so there is all sorts of scouting information for itzJ. Sees exactly what is going on, does not spot the snake charmer just yet though, which is interesting. Might assume that it is coming though, but he is not going to wait for it. His army is rolling into the main base of BeatFlitz soon. Definitely wants to put the soldiers in front, not the archers, so does want to move those back a little bit. And this army is not exactly huge either. And this might just get cornered here. If you look at it, this is going to be absolutely devastating. Workers are going to be pulled. It is almost going to be surrounded. Raiders over here do go and flash around, but one is going to be taken down. Another one is going to be taken down. First soldier is taken down, and the first archer as well. This raider is not quite dead yet, but one more attack and it is going to be taken down. And it is so close to dying. But look at this, the wall of at the end of the base is going to make sure that all of the units from itzJ are eventually going to be taken down. It is going to be a little bit of an attack at the third base here, but it doesn't look like it has been dealing quite a lot of damage. Workers have been softened up, but there is only 1 worker actually being taken down. If we look at the worker count, it is 25 versus 20. Not a great thing to see. BeatFlitz getting himself 2 animal testing labs, is getting himself ready for the double upgrades again. I assume he's going for 1-1, but it is possible to go for 2-0. At a time you can start your first upgrade let's say the attack upgrade, and you can immediately start the second attack upgrade, winning you pretty much, well, depending on the upgrade of course, winning you the entire duration of the upgrade. So instead of getting your +2 after like 2.5 minutes, for instance, you can get it after 1.5 minutes because you do not have to wait for the first one to finish. Interesting thing to keep in mind. But itzJ, as he sees that his army is not capable of taking down the continuous onslaught of BeatFlitz here, is getting himself a third base and a forge. Interesting to see. Also getting himself a workshop and an advanced workshop. He is building a lot, and it doesn't look like he really has the economy to support any of it. So it looks like itzJ with a little bit of indecisiveness, or at least what looks like indecisiveness, is spreading himself a little bit too thin, a little bit too early. And yes, it is indeed going to be 1-1. But like I said, he would have saved himself 90 seconds on +2 attack if he would have started the +2 immediately as well. Some nice SimCity from BeatFlitz here at the third base. I assume that there is either a small opening over here going around, a small opening between the wolf den and the castle to go in, or he has to walk around all the way, around all of these buildings to try and take down the workers. So those are very well defended, very nice to see. BeatFlitz also sending a bird over to one location. Scouts that nothing interesting is going on there, is going to move it in a second. Does scout with a wolf that there is no fourth on that location, and trying to keep an eye on it. It's a classic move from beast players. Does now see that there is at least one workshop ready to go, but he's not really going to wait for it to start producing. The first soldier is going to be taken down, second soldier is going to be taken down. He is attacking before the 1-1 upgrade is going to be completed. But it looks like BeatFlitz, so far at least, does not care. The catapult is going to be running out, and it is very nice to actually move it back immediately. Going to get himself some decent volleys in. And it is going to be a tough situation for itzJ, because he can just move in and take down the catapult, but it is going to be picked up by the airship here. And BeatFlitz already, as he saw the workshop over here, immediately got himself an advanced workshop to get himself some ballistas to take down the airship here, because catapult drops can be pretty devastating. BeatFlitz, however, is going to try and just take down the entirety of the third base here. Workers are going to attack. The catapult is in a nice position. It can actually shoot down most of the units here. It takes down 2 snakes, very nice to see, but it does need to be saved. The airship is in a little bit of trouble. The catapult does manage to get some more nice shots off. He did get quite some kills here, but it is still a lot of damage that BeatFlitz is doing here. Most of the army here is going to be taken down in the meantime. He's gearing up to get himself a 4th base. As this does get cleaned up, the catapult having a total of 8 kills. It is a decent hold from itzJ, but it is going to be far from over, because there is another massive army ready to pounce once again. 4th base has been started over here, as itzJ is trying to get himself a 4th base as well. It looks like BeatFlitz is going to take it down relatively quickly, as the bird has scouted it again. itzJ is going to try and defend it, but I highly doubt that it's going to be enough to actually take down this army. 1-1 is going to be finished. itzJ's 1 armor upgrade has been finished as well. So it cancels each other out a little bit, but is it going to be enough? This 4th base seems like it's going to be taken down relatively quickly. Catapult drop is going to happen at the 4th base. Very nice. Does go ahead and be cancelled or denied by a small section of the army here. So it feels like this 4th base for now is going to be safe. itzJ definitely needs to take the catapults away from there, but also needs to be safe by the snakes not being able to take it down. BeatFlitz focusing down the 4th base, does manage to take it down. 350 gold down the drain. Does go ahead and continue to get the surround on the main army. of itzJ here, while the airship over here is going to be denied as well. The ballista has been ready to catch it. More snakes are going to follow it, so he needs to keep it on the move. 2-2 has almost finished from BeatFlitz. Very nice to see. 6 units at a time going to be constructed. Third attack upgrade is on the way. And it looks like BeatFlitz is slowly going to pressure itzJ back into the corner that he does not want to be in. And there we go. itzJ, GG's out, knows that he is too far behind this time. Which means that BeatFlitz will pull back this series into a tie at a 1-1 score. And with the series now being tied, that does mean that Team Broleague can no longer get the clean sweep, so they can no longer steal third place from Team Holy. They can still get close though if itzJ gets this victory. But in the meantime, BeatFlitz has switched up the pace of the series. He got himself in a victory, which, at least in a mental state, must feel bad for itzJ and must feel good for BeatFlitz. So is he going to pull out the reverse sweep out of a bag and get Team mderg a little bit closer to the Fellowship? Or is itzJ going to find the miracle run and get themselves right behind Team Holy? Let's go ahead and find out in game number 3. And the decisive game of this series is not going to be played on Ravaged. It is going to be played on Mirrored Mire instead. Which is interesting. This is an interesting map. Once again, has a lot of ways in which all of the bases can be attacked. All of the bases pretty much have 2 ways of attack everywhere. You might say that the third base only has 1 because you pretty much just need to defend this part. But nonetheless, it is very interesting here. But having that said, before we get once again into the timing where the setup for the armies is going to be in. Oh boy, itzJ played this on like 4 times. Ah, BeatFlitz as well. Okay, so their map knowledge is relatively similar. Okay, well that's interesting to see. Curious to see how this this game is going to play out. But with the red pieces trying to get some recognition for Team Broleague, with the red pieces on the top left hand side, it is going to be itzJ. He is starting off with the Rex opening again, while our player on the bottom right with the blue pieces for Team mderg is once again starting with the dens that have served him well in the previous game, and with the oh so cool looking workers. It is BeatFlitz. Now, once again, large map. You would assume that at least when it comes, or especially when it comes to the map pressure, that the wolf opening is going to be even stronger than it is on one of the smaller maps. So, BeatFlitz here, if he does manage to get himself a decent pack of wolves, is definitely in a favorable position. There's also a very nice X pattern here of the rally points from the dead, just going to scout all around with the wolf to see if there are any shenanigans going on. Very nice. The first wolf is going to walk around and get into the main base for itzJ. Not entirely sure if itzJ is sending the raider down here for a specific reason. It does look like it is a little bit faster, but I don't think that there's too much in it. But BeatFlitz will get all of the scouting information that he needs. A very early worker pull from itzJ to try and deny the wolf here, while it is definitely not necessary to do so. And the raider does find 3 wolves here, does get surrounded. Will he actually manage to flash out? Yes, he does, but not before losing most of its health. It's not that great to see. In the meantime, the wolf over here is going to outrun the raider for now. And it's going to be interesting to see if this raider is going to actually take down the wolf. No, it is not. It is moving back. Very nice. As BeatFlitz is getting himself a natural base at the same time as itzJ is doing. And these 2 raiders definitely should be able to take down the wolves here. Should definitely be able to take down that singular wolf, and there we go. And then it is going to be 3, almost 4 wolves versus 2 raiders. Definitely in the favor of the raiders here, but of course one of the raiders is very low health, so it does need to be very careful. It will be outrun by the wolves though, so is it going to be taken down? Oh, the vision on the ramp does save the raider for now, and the 3rd raider has popped out, so it's very much into the favor of the raiders right now. And oh, that would have been close to slay that wolf, because it was in red health, and it looks like the attack from the raider was countered, or not countered, it was cancelled. So a very nice move. If there's going to be a flash on top of these wolves, it is going to be interesting. It doesn't even need a flash for now. 1 wolf does get taken down. Will he eventually decide to go over and flash though? Once again, it doesn't even seem necessary. This wolf, again, BeatFlitz, very sloppy. It is just going to be taken down. And when it comes to the total army count, it is just 3 raiders versus 3 wolves. Not what you like to see. itzJ transitioning already into some workshops. Also pretty interesting to see, but understandable to try and get some, I assume, catapults, but also could be Gatling guns in, which have served him well in the first game. He is getting himself a 3rd base, which is very nice to see. BeatFlitz getting himself 3 dens here, will ramp up his production soon. Once again is getting himself a snake charmer, and now as well an animal testing lab. So he is going to look and try and find a little bit of a breathing room here. I assume that when the animal testing lab is going to be finished, it is going to go for an attack upgrade, because it really helps the snakes here, and these raiders can just slowly deal damage to this wolf den. Not entirely sure if it is going to be taken down completely. I highly doubt it will, even though 4 raiders can easily take down 5 wolves. Which is an interesting situation for BeatFlitz here. Snake Charmer has been finished, so snakes are soon going to be popping out and getting some range DPS in for the raiders, which is nice to hopefully push them back a little bit. But BeatFlitz definitely on the back foot. 3rd base does get finished for construction, so itzJ is no longer supply blocked, is getting himself 2 houses, which is nice to see, but not entirely necessary. If we would have paid a little bit more attention to his supply count, and he's not going to be supply blocked for at least a little while, as he will be at 33 out of 60 once this house finishes. The advanced workshop is going to be constructed as well, and it looks like with the catapults in production that itzJ is going to try and get some catadrops in. BeatFlitz does manage to run a wolf around the map though, will scout that there is a 3rd base for itzJ here, and will know that he is on a little bit of a back foot himself. Did just start his own 3rd base, but if you look at the income, he is falling behind just a little bit. And especially when it comes to the total army supply, of course. He has lost a total of 5 wolves already, which is not that great to see. 1 wolf is standing on the 4th base location. I assume that this wolf is eventually going to run over to this 4th base location to try and keep an eye on itzJ's economic moves. But so far, BeatFlitz just still slowly trying to ramp up his army. This worker looks like it is going to be taken down, I assume. No, it just gets saved. Very nice to see. Another full health worker is going to construct or continue to construct the third base here. Raiders will go ahead and be pushed back now. This Raider is going to be numbed right here. It does eventually get itzJ on the board with some lost gold as well. Now, the first attack upgrade has almost been finished, which is very good to see for BeatFlitz here. The snakes, with the massive attack speed that they do have, getting an additional damage with every volley that they shoot, is pretty nice. Getting himself a second attack upgrade. But in the meantime, there's an airship with catapults coming in from itzJ, and itzJ is getting himself an additional workshop. Is getting himself a ballista, which is interesting. He hasn't really seen anything when it comes to the strategy from BeatFlitz here. Very nice, instantly attacking the worker line here instead of shooting the castle. Does want to move the catapults away. You do not want to drop him again. There is no way you can attack these from this close, my dude. Raiders in the meantime trying to attack the third base. Absolutely not going to happen. Advanced workshop is going to be constructed for BeatFlitz, going to try and get some ballistas in. itzJ, why are you doing this? This catapult did not need to die. Just get out of there with your airship. There is nothing that it can do here. Please just leave and try and get some damage in at another base instead. That is not the way you want to execute one of those catapult drops. The first attack was absolutely fantastic. Apart from that, the execution was disgusting. But nice try nonetheless. He is now moving out with some of his soldiers and some catapults, walking all the way behind the soldiers. Does not want to let them get caught out of position like the other catapults have been doing. Why? itzJ, why are you doing it like this? I really hope that you are going to be able to place a catapult down there and actually maybe kill a worker or two. Because apart from that, that is once again not the best situation to be in. He should also go back to his main, or maybe go back to this army over here and pick up a second catapult if he wants to. Because so far it is not really doing too much for him. This army as well for BeatFlitz looks like it is going to be too big for itzJ's army. As itzJ has started up a fortress, so it looks like he wants to transition into some dragons here. But all of this is going to just be surrounded. The catapults are going to be taken down, the soldiers are going to be taken down, all of the raiders are going to be taken down. And this army is just going to get overrun. The catapults are definitely great additions to the army, but not if they get caught out of position like this and none of them can actually really shoot. And it just looks like everything is going to be taken down. This slight piece of army is going to take care of the airship and the catapults on the right hand side just a little, just in time to pick it up, but definitely just needs to get the hell out of there. In the meantime, BeatFlitz does have a bird, hasn't really scouted too much, does not know that the fortress has been produced. And for some interesting way, itzJ is getting himself a forge, obviously. It's once again quite heavily focused. Why are you running in with the same damaged catapult? Just a few hits and it's dead, my dude. But what? Okay, what? Hey? Okay, I do not understand the thought process of itzJ. He's getting himself a forge, which is nice, but he's also getting himself 2 additional racks and getting himself 2 dragon layers. I mean, I guess it is good to have additional army while also getting dragons, and you do have a lot of saved up money now. But is that the way to go about things? I'm not entirely sure. This beast army will just take down the watchtowers here. They do not get cancelled, which is just more lost money from itzJ. It looks like the army over here is once again just going to be taken down. There is nothing going on here apart from a catapult being taken down by a worker, which is quite interesting. And in the meantime, the 2-0 upgraded beast army is just taking down all of the catapults here. Catapult not really doing anything because it did not have vision on the high ground, which is stuck behind wolves. This ballista over here does not have any use, and apart from being a meat shield, not that much that he is going to do. This ballista ship with a singular ballista does not find the airship of itzJ. Not that it had anything in it, but it would be nice to be taken down. The third attack upgrade is started from BeatFlitz, as well as some additional production. A fortress from BeatFlitz has started as well. itzJ is going for a mech attack upgrade, even though he started some additional barracks production. He's also now starting some dragons, as he did go ahead and try and get a fourth base. BeatFlitz's fourth base has been finished yet, but no workers mining there. Another catapult drop is going to be attempted from itzJ, but in the meantime his main, or his third base, is just going to be assaulted by the beast army from BeatFlitz. I think at this point we should call him BeastFlitz instead, because his beast army is going to deal quite some damage. The catapults have been dropped to eventually get themselves a decent amount of kills. And now just please actually get out of there. Or is he going to be able to do something, because BeatFlitz does not have his units on a move? Yes, he does. BeatFlitz, however, will find out that there is a fourth base attempted to be constructed. This watchtower is going to be immediately taken down. Is he actually going to cancel these buildings over here? I'm not entirely sure. 9 kills did come in for BeatFlitz here. It does want to drop the ballista in order to take down the airship, and does manage to take down 2 catapults that way as well. Another watchtower which hasn't been cancelled. Disgusting to see. Is this fourth base going to be cancelled, or is it also just going to be taken down? Snakes attacking dragons. They deal reduced damage to flying units, but at this amount of snakes will still deal a lot of damage. The fourth base actually does get cancelled, which is nice to see. There is one dragon in the air in the natural and third base of BeatFlitz, but with the watchtowers the dragons are not really going to be able to do anything. And there's just a massive beast army just ready to pounce on everything itzJ has to offer. With the amount of snakes, with the amount of wolves, no matter how many catapults itzJ has, which there are only 3, which are a little bit spread out as well, and now surrounded as well. There is almost absolutely nothing that itzJ can do here. The airship is going to be taken down with 2 catapults in it. The ballista over here is going to be taken down. The snake is going to be taken down, but the dragon is going to be taken down, but a few snakes that are standing here. 2 ballistas are on the way, so any further additional dragon that is going to be spawning is not going to deal any of the damage. A watchtower at the third base is going to be taken down relatively quickly. All of the workers are going to be taken down in a natural base. Another catapult is going to be destroyed. Ballistas go ahead and take down dragons. Another gold mine at the third is going to be taken down. The fourth are watchtowers being constructed and not even anything else. It is not looking good. The entire base of itzJ is going to be overrun. 3 dragon layers are going to be produced as well. So behind this there's going to be a dragon transition with a total of 3 and almost 4 attack upgrades once the dragons get finished as well. And it would mean that the dragons of BeatFlitz would be vastly superior of the dragons of itzJ. But even though BeatFlitz does not really have anything to attack the air right now, at the base of itzJ, a lot of damage has already been dealt. 17 workers have been going down. BeatFlitz's economy is 3 times as big as itzJ's. Ballistas do eventually go ahead and take down the dragon here. Very nice from a player in the blue. In the meantime, still some beast units are going to wreak havoc on the base of itzJ. It is not a good position for a player in the red. Almost triple the income for BeatFlitz right now, until some of the workers are going to go ahead and mine again for itzJ. But it is not looking good. Fourth base once again is going to be attempted by itzJ. But if we look at the army of the blue player over here, he has himself 3 dragons in just a second. He is at 4 beast attack upgrades. These wolves are devastating. These snakes are devastating. The ballistas will deny any of the dragons together with the snakes that BeatFlitz has. No further upgrades have been started from a player in the red either. He's just on 1 mech upgrade. The explosive ballista shot is going to be researched as well. 3 more dragons are on the way. BeatFlitz can start up another base or get himself even more production if he wants to. 130 supply versus itzJ's 58. Double the supply, double the income, and, well, not double the bases, but it's not going to be far away from that fact. It is just a matter of time before itzJ here is going to be taken down. BeatFlitz, a very interesting move, taking all 4 of your ballistas into the battlefield, while there are some dragons, or a threat of dragons in your main, or in your bases, while you do not really have any watchtowers defending them. These dragons, though, deal 4 more damage than the opponent's dragons, and there is an additional one of them, which is going to be denying the counterattack of itzJ, but in the meantime, BeatFlitz once again is going to take over the entire base of itzJ. All of these catapults once again are going to be taken down. More and more dragons are going to be produced. And once again, it doesn't seem like there is a lot for itzJ to do. Dragons have been taken down. There are a total of 8 of them ready to fight. Once again, 3 more on the way. The 5th attack upgrade is on the way as well. All of these units just deal so much damage and so much economic downtime. And that was just the ground army. itzJ, you now have to deal with the air units. And it's too much for him. And itzJ finally taps out. And in the end, it is BeatFlitz who takes the victory. So, BeatFlitz with the reverse sweep takes the 2-1 victory for Team mderg, which is very good for them to see, and must feel like a little bit of a disappointment for Team Broleague. Because if we look at the scores, Team Broleague did get an additional map point, but they are still a full series victory away from Team Holy, who will tomorrow have another game versus the Fellowship. And Team mderg, of course, not having the clean sweep themselves, do catch up a little bit with the Fellowship, but of course not as much as they would have liked to. There are some pretty solid positions in 1st and 2nd place. For 3rd place is all the beans right now. It's going to be interesting to see tomorrow in the game between the Fellowship and Team Holy who is going to take that series. And maybe with a little bit of an upset versus the Fellowship, Team Holy can sprint into a race for 2nd place and leaving Team Broleague a little bit in the dust. Or maybe it is the Fellowship taking a victory and then Team Broleague can go ahead and get a clean sweep in the final series of the week and secure themselves, after all, in 3rd place. Having that said though, that is going to be it for this series of today. I hope that you enjoyed this cast, and of course if you did, feel free to hit the like button down below, and of course let me know in the comments what you thought of the games here. Feel free to also join Littlewargame.com and let us know in the lobby chat there as well, or join the Discord even and let us know in the Discord instead. Apart from that, if you do not want to miss any of the future Pro League 6 action, feel free to hit the subscribe button as well while you're down there. And of course, feel free to check out all of the other content creators of Littlewargame, because this Pro League has been covered by more people than just me, and there is a lot of interesting information out there. And after all that rambling, that is the end for me for now. So I hope to see you soon in the next game, and until then, have a great day, my dudes.